As you may know, Sunday, August 27th was National Cinema Day. And the point of National Cinema Day was that every ticket for a movie was $4, when usually a ticket is like $16 now. Me being me, of course, I decided, well, let me spend all day at the movie theaters. And on Sunday, that is exactly what I did. I watched 3 movies, and one was a very long movie, which I'm sure you'll know what it is. And video is just gonna be my day and my thoughts on the day. Well, to start off the day bright and early at 8:45 a.m. was Blue Beetle. Holy shit, I've never watched a movie so fucking early. That was insane. I don't know how I was awake. Well, actually, I do know how I was awake. I watched a movie with my dad. It was fun. But before, we had stopped and gotten some McDonald's, and I got some coffee. Dude, does their coffee have crack in it? My heart was fucking pounding the whole movie. I was like, holy shit, oh my god. I'm sorry, it was just insane. Investigate what they put in McDonald's coffee, guys. Or maybe I'm not used to caffeine. I don't really drink coffee, but that was an intense experience to say the least. And so early in the morning was Blue Beetle. And Blue Beetle, I think, is like the reset of the DCU, like the cinematic DC universe. I'm not sure about that. Maybe it's the last of the old ones, but I don't know. I will say Blue Beetle felt kind of refreshing for a superhero movie in this year of our Lord 2023. Because as you know, we get too many superhero movies. It's too much to keep up with. I stopped keeping up after Endgame, to be honest with you. But sometimes I'll pop out if there's a good one. And I thought Blue Beetle was not bad. For $4, I'd watch it again, but it was cool. It was an interesting movie. I say that because Blue Beetle is an interesting character. In the comics and stuff, he's always been cool, especially his suit and abilities. Solo was perfection. He was awesome. We need to see him play Blue Beetle again. Like, this can't be a wasted performance, guys. He was cool. Really cool guy. I think my favorite part of Blue Beetle was the suit. The suit and its powers were very comic accurate, very Injustice 2 accurate. That's how I know Blue Beetle mostly, from Injustice 2, the video game. And I saw a bunch of moves that are in the video game in the movie. It was really fun. And I think it was an interesting sort of thing to see Jaime's whole family get a spotlight in the movie. Like, that's not something you'd usually see in a superhero movie. I don't even mean like just scenes or depth. I mean like action. Like, they really get in on it, every single family member. So that was really funny. George Lopez was really fun in the movie, and he was a painted nails king like me, so that was respectable. Blue Beetle's sister was also pretty cool. I don't want to go into any spoilers or anything, but the movie did have some good emotional beats at times, some decent emotional beats. You know, there is a sort of emotional scene in the middle-ish of the movie. There's some decent comedy. It's a little cringy at times, but you know how superhero movies are, guys. It's a formula for the most part. The main characters were pretty cool. The villains were okay. I wasn't too crazy about the villains. Susan Sarandon slayed, though. for what she had, she did great. And I just think Blue Beetle was a pretty cool movie. It was a good time. I don't regret watching it. I don't know if I'd watch it again, but it was cool. I'm hyped to see what the new DCU is like. I'd give it a 7.2. And after Blue Beetle wrapped up, it was, say, 10:30 in the morning, and at 11:40 I'd open. So I decided to go to Barnes & Noble while I had the time. So that was always fun. That's like my favorite store, to be honest. I fucking love Barnes & Noble. Barnes & Noble? I go there all the time and I don't even know the name. Isn't that insane? But whatever the fuck the name of that store is, I got some pretty cool manga, which, you know, I'm kind of a manga channel, kind of not, so I gotta show this, guys. I got volume 2 of Codename Sailor V, which I think is like the Sailor Moon prologue. I'm not sure. I'm trying to collect all of Sailor Moon before I start reading it. Maybe that's crazy. I don't know. That's kind of how I do things. And I got volume 5 of Sakamoto Days, aka the future of Shonen Jump, to be honest. I don't know if JJK is ending soon. I've heard rumors about it. I don't know if I agree, but I don't know. We don't have a crazy amount of series in Shonen Jump right now, and I think Sakamoto Days is just fucking killing it, dude. This is a really cool manga. And the last book I got was not a manga, but a comic book, and I got a Mighty Marvel Masterworks Fantastic Four. I think this is the most interesting purchase I had of the day, to be honest, of the 3 books. This is really cool. It's the first 10 issues of the Fantastic Four comic book, like from the 60s, from Jack Kirby and Stan Lee and stuff. I haven't gotten to reading it yet, but I'm really interested to see some good Fantastic Four content. You know, just some redemption for these guys. The screen has done them dirty, so I want to read about it. And before I tell you what the next movie was, like and subscribe, please. The next movie was the really long movie. I'll give you a few seconds to guess. It was Oppenheimer. If you didn't get it, it was Oppenheimer. So, Oppenheimer is, as you probably know, the newest Christopher Nolan movie, sequel to Barbie. Overall, amazing movie, guys. Going into Oppenheimer, I don't know. I was like sort of hesitant because I'm not really good at watching really long movies. Like, if it's really captivating, I'll love it, but it needs to be really good. You know what I mean? So I was kind of worried going into Oppenheimer. I'm like, it's kind of historical. I don't know. I like history, but to an extent. And then I came out and that all went away. Oppenheimer is a fucking masterpiece, guys. Nolan was just cooking, and he couldn't stop. It was a great time. One of my favorite things about Oppenheimer was just how the plot moved along. I feel like Oppenheimer was such a smooth and natural journey of a movie. Like, think of Oppenheimer as just like a beautiful river on a mountain, and the water is just flowing at the same pace, and you're just going along for the ride until, sadly, it's over. That's what Oppenheimer was. It was sick. Really, really awesome movie. Great sound, great cast, great performances, great direction, great script. It had pretty much all. It pretty much had it all. I would say, I don't want to get recency bias here or anything, but I would say of the Nolan flicks I've seen, I think Oppenheimer is my favorite. I've only seen the Dark Knight trilogy and Inception, so not much. But of those 4 movies, I think Oppenheimer was my favorite, but Inception is legendary. And on to the second positive, which was the cast. The cast is unbelievable in this movie. If you emailed me a leak of all the names in the script before the movie was released, I think I'd faint. But in all seriousness, there's a lot of actors that I really, really love that are in this movie, which is super cool. Like, there was really cool moments from actors like Matt Damon, Florence Pugh, Dane DeHaan, Alden Ehrenreich, I think that's how you pronounce it, I'm so sorry, Devin Bostic, Jack Quaid, Josh Peck, and so many others that I can't even name it. The cast is beyond stacked. It was really cool. Of those actors I mentioned, I really like Florence Pugh. I thought she was amazing. And oh my god, I didn't mention RDJ. Yeah, Robert Downey Jr. is in this movie, and he is phenomenal. He is unbelievable in this movie. You know what? This is going to be a spoiler. Thoughts and review section. This is going to be spoilers, so click off if you haven't seen Oppenheimer, okay? Robert Downey Jr. was just immense in this movie and a total dark horse in the third act. I was not expecting it. The third act of this movie in general is just insane. Super unexpected. So once the bomb goes off, like they do the initial testing for the bomb, incredible scene, by the way. It was silent. What the fuck? Like, that was crazy. Once that happens, you sort of feel like things are closing. So you're like, okay, maybe movie's almost over. I can finally pee, right? But no, there's a lot more, and it's super interesting. It sort of dealt with the aftermath and how Oppenheimer was viewed as a possible communist sympathizer. So that was pretty interesting. That whole McCarthyism era, And that's where RDJ sort of shined. I was not expecting a courtroom scene in this movie, guys. That was so hype. Like, that was I'm such a geek, but seeing a courtroom scene was really hype. As a big fan of Better Call Saul and Ace Attorney, I fucking live for law-related media. So that was really interesting. Obviously, the scene was a bit more realistic than Ace Attorney, but, we can't have it all, right? Kind of wish RDJ had a meltdown right on there while someone shouted objection, but we can't have it all, right? That would have made the movie a 1,000,000 out of 10, by the way, if there was just a random objection! Is that how my objection would go in Ace Attorney? I don't want a bad objection, guys. Objection! Objection! One of those. I totally derailed my train of thought with that, guys. I'm sorry. If you've seen it, I think it goes beyond saying Cillian Murphy needs that Oscar, guys. Give him that Oscar. I don't really fuck with the Oscars, but give him one. He needs it. And the sound. The sound was crazy. I saw Blue Beetle in IMAX, which was interesting. Cool. But this movie in IMAX was... That's my best impression of the nuke sound, guys, in the movie. Hold on. No, not that one. Something like that, right? Something like that. Yeah, the sound was immense. This is probably gonna win the Oscar for sound too, but there'll be a scene talking about the scientific stuff about the bomb, guys. I'm no scientist. I'm a fucking psychology student. But it'll be like a scene of Oppenheimer talking about the specifics of the bomb, and then you'll see little like particles or something, some scientific thing. Atoms, maybe? I'm guessing atoms. It's an atom bomb, so it'll be like a blue flash of atoms and just you hear a little noise. It was cool. Albert Einstein's role was such a meme in this movie. Like, not in a bad way, but it was just hilarious. Like, half the scenes of him were like, was he talking shit about RDJ or not? Which was hilarious. Which, by the way, he wasn't. He wasn't talking shit. So, you know, Albert. But seeing Oppenheimer in a theater is probably a theater experience I'll never forget. And that's up there with, like, you know, Endgame, Infinity War, Into the Spider-Verse was pretty cool. Just cool theater experiences I've had throughout my life. And you know what I really loved about Oppenheimer, guys? Is that it's a boring adult movie that you don't have people yelling, screaming, or laughing during the fucking movie. Just being generally obnoxious or on their phone. So, that was good. Although I did experience a phenomenon that I've been experiencing a lot recently at the movies. I don't know if you guys can relate to this. Why does someone always turn on their phone flashlight for like 40 seconds in the beginning of the movie? This happened when I watched Across the Spider-Verse as well. Someone just turns on their phone flashlight. Everyone sees it. They have it on for like 40 seconds and they just stop. Can people stop? What is up with all the bad theater behavior recently, guys? Like, I've been going to the movies forever, since I was a little kid. But recently it has been so filled with bad behavior. We are not in kindergarten, people. Behave better. Don't yell. Don't talk. Don't use your phone. If you're going to use your phone, why buy a movie ticket? Why the fuck would you buy a movie ticket if you're just going to be on your phone the whole movie? Like, the next movie I watched, the person next to me was on Instagram the whole movie. Why are you going to waste your money to watch a movie if you're just going to be on Instagram? Because then it's going to be in the corner of my eye. I'm going to see Instagram the whole movie. Like, dude, that's so obnoxious. Rant over. I did not think I would rant in this video. I'm sorry. But on to the topic of Oppenheimer. Let me just give it my rating. I don't have any more thoughts on Oppenheimer. Awesome movie. Watch it. 9.3. It was about 2:30, and my next movie was starting at 3:30, so it was a little bit of a hurry. I went to Subway to eat, because I hadn't eaten since before Blue Beetle, so I was really hungry. I got a good sandwich. I got an Italian BMT. If you know, you know. It's good. And I hurried my way back to the theater and sat down for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem. TMNT Mutant Mayhem. Now, this was a fun movie. This was really cool. Hot take incoming. Nuclear take incoming. I like this movie more than Across the Spider-Verse. Fight me. Not Into Spider-Verse. Into Spider-Verse is the best animated movie ever, in my opinion. But I like this one more than Across the Spider-Verse. This one was awesome. But before I get to the positives, I think I'm going to tackle the negatives. Keep in mind, I'm not going to say any spoilers to this movie, because this movie's really new. Oppenheimer and Blue Beetle are getting a little older, especially Oppenheimer. But TMNT is super new, so no spoilers. But I will say, here's my main complaint, really one of my only complaints, is that the dialogue is a bit too, like, using slang, like modern slang. Like, they say, like, Riz and shit in this movie, which I don't personally really have a problem with that. Not the stuff I understand the most personally, but I just kind of feel like that can make the movie dated. Because, I mean, are we really going to be saying Riz in fucking 10 years? You know what I mean? So that's a little bit of a negative. Also, no Casey Jones, bro. Casey Jones better be in the sequel. Where's Casey Jones? I really like the relationship between the main turtles. They felt like, you know, just a bunch of little brothers. Like, little kids or brothers, and they're all funny and shit. This was a really funny movie. At times, this movie was hilarious. Personally, one of my favorite jokes is when they, like, do sort of like a New York accent joke, and it was fucking hilarious. I also thought Shredder was adorable in this movie. He was a very cute dad to all the turtles, very protective and stuff. And April O'Neil was not done dirty at all. April was really cool in this movie. She got to do some cool stuff. Relatable, low-key. So, I mean, this is just another movie where they were just cooking in every step of the way. The music was cool. The animation was really cool. And the characters were great. The voice performances were good. And the mutants were adorable. All the themes in this movie of, like, family and coming together and stuff were just so fucking wholesome. This was a really wholesome movie. I enjoyed my time with it so much. Oppenheimer was my favorite movie, definitely, but I had the most fun watching Ninja Turtles. It was a blast. It is such a fast movie. Like, one thing happens and another thing happens and another thing happens. There's no filler in this movie. There's not a second, a minute, a millisecond of filler in this movie, and I love that. I love that. The action was really cool. There were some really cool set pieces and crazy, stunts and shit and whatnot in animation. And overall, I love this movie. I would say my favorite turtle was probably Leo, if not Mikey. I really like the direction they took with Leo. Usually, sometimes in Ninja Turtles, they make Leo sort of like the boring leader, the straight man. But in this one, Leo is like a super awkward, hilarious little guy, and he has to like learn to be a leader. It was so cute. Interesting after credit scene, a little bit expected, but interesting. We need a sequel, guys. We need a sequel like yesterday. Like, when there is a sequel, I will be seated. That's all I'll say. I don't have a crazy amount of things to say about Ninja Turtles, and I don't want to spoil anything, but go sit down and watch Ninja Turtles, dude. This is the best Ninja Turtles thing we've ever gotten, I believe. In my opinion, I'm not super deep into the Ninja Turtles lore, but I think it's the coolest Ninja Turtles thing we've ever gotten, and animation is just getting better, dude. Puss in Boots, Across the Spider-Verse, TMNT. I don't know what's next, but I'm excited. 8.8. And yeah, that pretty much wraps this video up. This was just some of my unabridged, off the dome thoughts on some really good movies I spent all day on Sunday watching. It was a great day, and I really like movies, so I'm excited to finally make a video about movies, talk about movies, and go to the movies, guys. Like Tom Cruise says, it's all about going to the fucking movies, dude. It's fun. Not when there's obnoxious audiences, but sometimes it's really fun because the actual movies are good. There's nothing like watching a good movie. There really isn't. Or making a movie. Whatever. It's all fun. So, if you did enjoy this video, like and subscribe. It would be greatly much a help. So just thank you for watching.